Ooh, shameless product placement. All right, we've had a Chick-fil-A encounter. It's about time. It's about time. Let's see who's ready to freak out, tweak out on Saturday. Anybody coming in? Anybody want to eat some chicken sandwiches with me? Who's ready for some chicken sandwiches? Let's see, is this hair fit for YouTube? Yeah, that'll be fine. Ooh, shaky hands. Let's go. Let's get our chicken tweak on. Welcome in, welcome in. Come on in for some chicken sandwiches. And some smokes. Some frosted lemonade. It's been a long time since I had one of these. Shoot, when was the last time I had Chick-fil-A? Probably 2015? Wow. No. Yeah? Yeah, I think it's been that long. It's way too long. Gotta have more Chick-fil-A than that. Oh, maybe 2016. Only 9 years. It's all good. Just like coming home. All right, well, we're gonna get a little eased in here. Give you guys an update of what's going on. It's not much good going on, but there's stuff going on. Do I, shaky camera work. So we are here live, broadcasting live from Chick-fil-A in Idaho Falls. A delightfully overcast, cool, breezy day. The RV is awaiting repairs till Monday, after it just got repaired Friday. So that's not the greatest news, but it is what it is, as they say. But this will actually give me a chance to get some stuff done in the old mobile tweak shack. Sit down and relax in a little bit. Is that Brandon Mitchell I see? Well, welcome in, buddy. Had a little bit of a breather from the Canadian tweak out earlier today on the Smurf Watch channel. That was pretty fun. What's wrong with the RV now? Same thing. Same. So I'll give you the rundown in a minute here. But yeah, shout out to Travel Fun 69 for going over 100,000 subs on his live stream today on YouTube. YouTube subs. So here we are. as in Max and me, chilling in Idaho Falls. We're a couple blocks away from the RV service center where they had a look at my RV yesterday. Well, let's go back to Jackson. So I think Jackson was last time we saw each other on the YouTubes. So in Jackson on Thursday, they sent me on their way, and this isn't quite a review, but I'll probably leave a review for them. I rolled into there on the back of a tow truck on Monday. They said they couldn't see me till Thursday. So Thursday they started having a look at it, and to be completely fair, they don't have a person on staff that's totally familiar with these antiquated carbureted systems as found on the old Dodge 400 here, the 440. This is a good tweak right here. I'm trying. I hope it gets better. Nobody's restreaming us. So Jackson, yeah. So they didn't have a good tech that knew carburetors. And so they were troubleshooting it, and I was giving them some feedback, telling them all the symptoms, the whole history I've had with the Tweak Shack here. Oh yeah, by the way, they wouldn't do my fries well done here in Idaho Falls. Maybe it's a Mormon thing or something. I guess it was against regulations, or maybe there's a state law or local law or ordinance or something. But I do have the frosted lemonade. I mean, I should have got the humongo size though. Too much of a good thing. They don't. Oh, well, the place was packed too, so I can understand it. They want to get people in and out, so the parking lot is full. That churns my butter too. That toasts my fries. So in Jackson, yeah, they looked at it for a few hours. Because at first we were suspecting the fuel pump was no good. And it was a new fuel pump installed just prior to me purchasing it by the previous owner, who's a mechanic as well. The Idaho side of the Tetons are way nicer than the Wyoming side. Okay, well, I came through in the dark on Thursday nights, Friday morning, so I didn't see much of the drive up the Snake River. I've seen it before, but it was a painful ride. So in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, they were looking around for another mechanical fuel pump, which runs right off a cam in the engine and just pump. Just a little rod goes up and down, sucks fuel from the fuel tank, pumps it to the carburetor. So one of my concerns was I wasn't getting enough fuel, because previously with the old carburetor, it was flooding and we couldn't tune it, and it was likely a vacuum leak. And I think that's likely what was happening with the old carburetor. So they put a fuel pressure gauge on in Jackson. It said you're only getting 6 or 7 psi. So we ordered an electrical fuel pump. So they got that in, installed it, but it was still running like just a hog. Wouldn't shift, wouldn't rev up. And so after sitting in there most of the day, they came out at around 4 o'clock and said, we've got nothing but bad news for you. Your fuel problem is fixed, because we put the fuel pump on. Ooh. My frosted lemonade is spilling all over the place. Let's deal with this crisis here. But the really bad news is you've got no third gear in your transmission. And I kind of didn't know what on earth they were talking about. It's like, no third gear? What do you mean? Well, you can shift into first and second, but there's no third gear. I mean, so I'm just puzzled. Like, what do you mean by that? There is a third gear. I can assure you. They're like, nope, you're gonna have to just limp on to the next town because we can't do transmissions here. We aren't touching that. And really, nobody else in town in Jackson is going to be able to look at that anytime soon. So your best bet is try to limp on into, where did they tell me, like Snow Valley or or Idaho Falls. So all right, well, thank you for your help. And in my mind, I'm thinking transmission, like what? I gotta get a transmission rebuild done? I don't think so. They said, whatever we tried, like we just can't get it to run in third gear. And so I hopped in, me and Max, we left Jackson around 10 p.m. And the drive to Idaho Falls is about 80, 90 miles or something like that. Beautiful drive along the Snake River and the reservoir, through the Tetons there. And the thing was just running like garbage. So it wasn't stalling out so badly. Like the electric fuel pump was forcing fuel in. But I would say my average speed on that trip was less than 25 mile an hour. There were times I was doing like walking speed, trying to climb some of these hills. And the thing was just chugging up these hills. But I could get it into third gear. It just didn't want to rev or run in third gear. So again, I knew it wasn't a transmission problem. I knew it's still a fuel delivery problem. And so rolled into Idaho Falls on the east side of town at like 5 in the morning. So a 7-hour trip to do 90 miles. Oh, it sucked. It sucked. Trust me, it sucked. I would have festered if I wasn't so tired, but I just barely got into town, found a place to park. Well, I was in the middle of the night, and it's mostly double lane highway, so I wasn't holding up any traffic. So there was very little traffic, and what traffic there was, they were able to deal with my sorry ass pretty easily. And so that's why I decided to leave there Thursday night rather than take my chances during the daytime when there would be a lot more truck traffic. Just knowing from the trucking side of things, like truck drivers want to get into town, unload, and get their load for Friday so they could be at their place Monday morning, drive through the weekend. So Thursday night I didn't deal with much traffic at all. So it worked out okay, all things considered. So then I'm on the east side of town. I stopped at a local, it was a heavy duty diesel shop, like a fleet shop. And I asked them, like, who's the carburetor mechanic in town? And they said, well, you can try across the road, across the highway there, the Yellowstone Highway. Check out this transmission place, or you could try this other place, just another half mile down. So I went to the transmission place. They said, no, we can't. We don't look at RVs. Get that thing out of here. I said, well, who here in town is the RV guys? And they said, oh, take it to Eagle Rock. So that's where I took it yesterday. So drove across town and pulled into Eagle Rock. They were able to get me in to look at the thing in about, well, an hour and a half. So I didn't have to wait until next Saturday, which was good. And so they have a tech there This old feller. He looks like Roger Waters. Long, scraggly hair and kind of long skull face kind of thing. And so he started looking at it. And one of the other things I did when I left Jackson, I made sure I had filled the transmission fluid, because if those guys were right and the transmission was laboring or something, I figured it's not going to be because of low fluid. What I ended up doing though is overfilling it. So when I got to Eagle Rock, I said two things: I need the carb looked at, and if you could pull the excess transmission fluid out of there, that would be wonderful. So they did that. After poking around under the doghouse there, they determined, okay, well, you got a vacuum leak. Oh, let's go get the old carburetor, or the old piece of equipment here. Do a Saturday afternoon carb clinic. Yeah, you don't need to see the old carb. So from the old carb, which was a Carter Thermoquad carb, and installing a new Edelbrock 1406, courtesy of O'Reilly's Car Parts and Tweak Accessories, you have to purchase this adapter. So it's a spacer, because the choke controls and everything, they won't sit square on the or they won't sit on the intake manifold without this spacer. So in here you got these little holes, for lack of a better term, and you put your fasteners in there, tweak them down, and then you set the new carb on these studs here, and then tweak them down. And then inside this rounded square cavity, you put one of these inserts. See the insert? So the insert sits in here, maybe like this. And so when I bought the carb, I installed this insert in there. Now, really, it was actually running not too bad when I put this insert in, but if you'll notice that that insert sits a little bit below. Well, let's actually do it the way it would be installed. And this I got from O'Reilly's as well. So I'm holding it flush under here with my thumb, and it juts out just a little tiny bit there. And so what they told me at the Big Eagle service place is that this thing was warped. And I guess you could see it's a little warped, but might have been able to get machined down. Just put it on a countertop and sand the thing down. And so when I torqued the carburetor down, it ended up pulling the corners, I guess, out of square, because this infernal spacer is too thick for the adapter plate. How about that, eh? So we had to order a new one of these. For whatever reason, we had to go with the $68 one instead of this one was $31 that I got from O'Reilly's. They got the same from O'Reilly's as well. So I ended up getting the more pricey. I'm assuming it's that much better. So. But they said they weren't going to install the insert. They were just going to leave it open. So they tweaked on that for a little while. Took it for a test drive. Took the transmission fluid out of there. And $768 later, they said, you're good to go. And it was right at like 5 o'clock, 5 p.m., closing time. So I paid the man, thanked him, loaded up Max, loaded up my smokes, started heading down the highway. So US, what is it? US, well, Yellowstone Highway. It's the same highway I was on. Figuring I'd take the US route down to Pocatello and then hop on the interstate there, head up to Boise. Well, I didn't get 5 miles down the road and it started acting up again. It was running great for the first 5 miles, but then thought, screw this, turned around, came right back, called up the service manager. I had his cell phone. Adam, you know, super guys there. Same with the guys in Jackson, like super guys, treated me really well. And said, bro, the thing's still acting up, so I'm going to be parking at your place for, yeah, exactly. That's a lot of smackaroos there. Too many smackaroos. Well, it was 3 hours labor, 3.5 hours labor, including the transmission fluid. I mean, I really should buy one of these, one of those vacuum pumps they sell at the hardware stores. Those are so handy. I could have just done it myself so they charged me 90 hours labor, and my transmission fluid is clean. They just dumped that, so I would have kept it. But yeah, for $90 I could probably buy a small vacuum pump. Those are so handy in the shop for drawing out fluids and stuff like that. But I figured, yeah, let the professionals do it. Well, that's what they get. That's what we pay them, the big bucks. But yeah, I was really disappointed that I wasn't able to continue my travels through the United States of Tweak America here. But the upside is we got Chick-fil-A. I don't know if there was a plug in the bottom. Usually to drain the transmission fluid, you just drop the whole pan. It might have a plug, but from my experience, mind you, I haven't worked on anything this old, and I didn't really take a look under there, but it's possible it has a drain plug just like your engine oil. But typically if you're doing a transmission service, you drain all the fluid anyway, replace the filter, replace everything. I know they're usually vented at the top, so that you don't get pressure building up. But drain plug, I'm not sure. I can't give you an answer one way or the other whether this unit has that. I can crawl underneath later, because I am going to be doing some things, but I'm not touching anything regarding that carburetor. So kind of word to the wise, if you go to a mechanic shop and they do a repair and turns out it's still not fixed, don't touch it. Because the moment you get your filthy little farmer fingers all over it, they'll say, well, you made changes to our repair, so we can't warranty that. So if it's still doing the same thing after you've had your vehicle in the shop, don't do nothing to it. Even if all they did is replace the valve or the valve stem caps on your tires. Just go straight back there and make them fix it. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm not doing anything under that doghouse. What I am planning to do is maybe route through that mess of wiring where the radio should be living and install one of the CD decks that I've got. There's a little bit of cabinet hardware I bought. These little clippies. So these are the style of cabinet clippies I got. And these are a little tweaky. All the plastics in these they're all old and destroyed, and they just clip it in this clip, and some of them don't clip, some of them are all busted up. Like here's the one I pulled out of I think over here. So the mechanism is all just hooped, so it doesn't operate the way it's supposed to. So I'm gonna replace some of those. The thing is, I have to I gotta drill new holes for the handles. Now that's gonna look stupid though, because then this one is gonna be lower. The new style ones I bought have a little indexing system. Yeah, I might just not use these. So they got this little index here that fits where the this hole is, and it sits too high up on the inside, and it doesn't engage with the latch. So these ones might be just going back. Otherwise, I'd have to replace all of these to make it look the same. And that's a lot of work and a lot of, I don't know, a lot of expense. This was $11 for two of them, I think. How much was this? How much was this garbage? Oh, $9.19 for two of these and two of these, and plus your fasteners. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I need 6 packs, $60 to redo all of them. No, there's another couple, 14. I don't know, $70 American just to do the cabinet hardware. Because the old style ones don't have this little index thing sticking out, and you can set your thing anywhere to line it up. So this one only lines up in one position. That's where that little indexing plastic stubby thing comes out. That snout, a little piggy snout. So that's kind of a shame, but I kept the receipt, so it's all good. And so what else did I find? Oh yeah, then I found these caps for my plumbing vent stacks. I think that's the technical word. So I was up there the other day when I was in Jackson. I made sure all the wiring for all my marker lights were working, and while I was up on the ladder, I saw that my little boots, or whatever you call those things. What is it called? What do you call this stupid thing? Plastic plumbing vent. White. Plastic plumbing vent. White. So these were only like $3.50 a piece or something. So those didn't break the bank, but the ones I got are all cracked up, and I didn't want to just silicone them all back, get that much extra life out of them. I figured just have some nice ones, and these ones actually have a little cap on it, so it keeps the rain out completely. So that'll be a project for later today or tomorrow, because the shop is not open till Monday, so I'm here for the weekend anyway. So lots of chances to enjoy more Chick-fil-A. Although I'll probably go find someplace else to scally around in Idaho Falls here. But yeah, nice little place. Pretty charming. The roads are very nice. The mountains are very nice. Well, let's see where there's mountains. There's some mountains over here somewhere. We're at the mall. There's a big retail area here. But, oh, that's hills. The mountains. Where are the mountains? I'm sure there's mountains around here somewhere. Yeah, whatever. Largest American falls? I'll have to look into that. I didn't. They had a little traveler's guide at the RV place from 2024. Maybe you're onto something there. It's right by me. Well, depending on where it is, I might go for a little drive. Because I can still drive the thing. It just, when I get it up to highway speeds, it just, again, falls flat on its face. Yeah, there's probably a bridge around here. I'll check out on the old map app on the iPhone, see where the falls actually are. I took some pictures in, what was the name of that falls? Some falls in Wyoming. Just on the side of the road, you can pull out a nice little hiking pathway and some falls there. But yeah, I didn't realize Idaho Falls was the largest of the American falls. I thought Niagara Falls was, but oh, technically that's in Canada. The falls side. But there you have it. That's kind of the update. Down for another couple of days. Hopefully they got, I'm assuming it's just more vacuum leaks they didn't detect. I mean, my strategy if I was attacking this now is you get a little bottle of propane with the nozzle, like one of those little camping ones or for soldering, and then just spray around all the intakes, spray around the vacuum hoses, and if the revs of your engine go up from the propane, that tells you there's vacuum leaks. So a little trick for you, but I don't have any of those little propane bottles. Which reminds me, I gotta get some butane. Which reminds me, I want to go to Ace Hardware because I also have windshield wiper repair. One of my windshield wipers just fell clean off. Where is he at? I think he's over here. Where did I put him? Yeah. This guy right here. So I need the blades replaced, but where this thing attaches to the oh no, it wasn't this. This is fine, but there's a little crossover bar between the driver's side and the passenger side mechanism, and the bar fell right off. So the bushing was gone. It's in Twin Falls. Well, I'll be passing through Twin Falls a little later on. I think Twin Falls is the location of the truck stop. I remember way back in 99 or 2000. It must have been 99. There's a truck stop right along the interstate there. It's an independent. It's not a Pilot, Flying J, or Loves or anything like that. And a real fancy place, like huge restaurant. Sat down for a meal, and I figured, you know what, I'm not too hungry. I'll just get an appetizer. And they had loaded spuds, loaded potatoes. So I said, hook me up with the loaded potatoes. Well, mind you, we didn't say hook me up back then. And I said, I'll try these loaded potatoes. And they said, coming right up. And so they gave me a platter. And like back then, because say we're talking 1999, it was probably like $7.50. I'm thinking that's quite a bit for an appetizer. I mean, wings were probably like 25 cents back then. But it came on a platter, like the size of the top of this little cooler here. Oh, this is not a big cooler top. Just a dish heaping loaded with potatoes and ground beef and cheese and sour cream and green onions and white onions, and I forget all what else was on that, but my eyes just went big. It's like, what the heck? And then I remembered, oh yeah, you're in Idaho. I mean, these people use potatoes as currency here. So I looked at this thing, it's like, this is not a meal for one person. Like, you could feed 7 people with this. And so I ate what I could, and I think I had leftovers for at least like 3 more meals after that on the road. It was crazy. So super good. That's my best Idaho story or memory. Other than that, it's not that I have anything against Idaho. It's just, Idaho never made an impression on me like those potatoes did. So I think that truck stop is still there. I'm going to stop by there once I do get back up, if I get back on the highway. And I'll see if that Twin Falls truck stop is still there. I'm pretty sure. I saw a potato that filled a table. Yeah. Yeah, these people have a potato tweak going on here big time. Say what you want about the Irish. The Idahoans they got something going. So yeah, I'll be curious to see. That same platter is probably $60 now, so we'll find out. But I think that truck stop is still there. I looked on Google Maps because I was trying to locate that truck stop, and I remember I never made any deliveries in Idaho. I just crossed through some in northern Idaho, like around Coeur d'Alene, and then making my way up to the Canadian border through Bonner's Ferry and all that. And then same thing through Boise in the southern part of the province here, or pardon me, state. I would just truck through and stop for fuel and gas, and that was it. I never spent any time in Idaho just hanging out. But yeah, that's my Idaho story. The potato appetizer that could feed a family for with leftovers. There was a steakhouse in Williston, had a 72 ounce. I'm sure that's like a quarter of a cow, or at least like half a shoulder there. But did I tell you guys about the burnt ends? No, I was telling my buddy that on the phone. So, oh yeah, okay, it's more Jackson story. So I was in Jackson, and the Bubba's Barbecue is part of a little retail group they have called Blue Collar Restaurant Group or something. And so there's 6 or 7 different establishments there that are part of the same management group. And they're all kind of, I think it's kind of just Jackson only. It might extend into Montana, because they were saying the manager or the person in charge of it was located in Bozeman, Montana. But I said, you know what? I'd love to see your barbecue pit or your smoker at Bubba's. And if you're interested, I would interview like your pit boss or your master chef or your barbecue master. Still lurking. Yeah, I see you. And I would broadcast it on my LiveTweakStream. I mean, a live stream. And so I spoke to the manager at Bubba's, and he gave me the email of this girl that I was supposed to contact for media relations. So the following day, I went to a different restaurant just to check out their menu. It was the American Grill right on the highway. because it looked like a really interesting tweaky place, and they had a nice looking menu, pretty pricey. Like, not by pricey, I mean for blue collar, right? Like $19 for a deluxe burger. But they had some nice fare there, and I said, yeah, I was trying to get an interview with the Bubba's people, and it was part of the same restaurant group. It was all log cabin-y style decor and old bar and grill kind of pub style. And I said, you know, if I can get a hold of this girl, I'll do a feature with you guys too, because this looks like the kind of food that people that make up my audience would be interested in. Because at the other end, you've got some $150 plate, $70 plate restaurants in Jackson there, and then you've got the Arby's and the Burger Kings and whatnot, and then everything in between. So I was kind of looking at the everything in between, and found some interesting places. I had some decent Mexican on Thursday for lunch. So I was lurking around downtown Jackson. So I had the enchiladas and the chimichangas. Mashed potatoes is where it's at, according to Joe. If anybody wants to disagree with him, you can start the fisticuffs in the brawl there, in the chat. The YouTube potato controversy. But yeah, I had there was a Korean restaurant I wanted to try in Jackson as well. There was a nice little burger place. It was the drugstore, which I passed by. I did that nighttime walk through downtown where there was nobody there, and we walked by the drugstore cafe or whatever it's called. I saw a couple of people sitting on the steps chomping down their burgers, and the burgers look good, and I said, how are they? And they said, fantastic. So just kind of ran out of time and didn't want to blow the budget on burgers and that kind of stuff, but yeah, just the selection of food in Jackson is incredible. But then, okay, so I got the vehicle back Thursday night or Thursday afternoon in Jackson, headed back to the rec center to get cleaned up, have a shower, and then I went to another barbecue joint, because I emailed that girl that I got the email, and no, it's not, I didn't hear back. It was an invalid email or something. I don't go to Jackson. Oh, I missed that. Let's see. I can pull up comments here somewhere. Yeah? Okay. Let's see. Am I missing comments? Oh, King Chow Chow is in the house. Nice. Work people. Oh, you drained your transmission? Nice. It happens. Potatoes. I didn't go to Jackson. I spent time in Gillette, Douglas, and Casper. Jackson's too fancy. Well, yeah, interesting story here too. So yeah, I never got a chance to attempt that interview with these restaurant people because the email I got was incorrect, and I just said, you know what? I'm done with this. Sounds like too much effort to chase all these people down. So, but the guy at the shop in Jackson, he said it wasn't always like this. It wasn't like it's a touristy kind of high-end destination for travelers, and so I was walking around town. I went into a leather shop and boot store because they had cowboy hats. I was like, what's a cowboy hat worth? But I picked up a pair of cowboy boots, and they were like $1,000. So I quickly put it down before I got my filthy farmer fingerprints all over it. because I didn't want to buy $1,000 pair of boots. And I thought, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to see the price of the hats. I'm sure whatever it is, I can't afford it. And then went to some antique shops, and it's like they had some incredible stuff, but it's just way too overpriced. But anyways, the guy at the garage was saying, yeah, it wasn't like this. It was COVID and that television show or Netflix show Yellowstone that did it to this place. Like it's and he gave me the example, and I can relate because I know people similar situations where they purchased property or built property, say 10 years ago for $400,000 or $600,000, and then now that same property with no improvements to it, no changes, no upgrades, no nothing. 10 years later, same property is selling for 1.7 million. And so he said those two factors, COVID, because COVID was really good for the RV industry and tourism, because people were done with all that shenanigans. And so they took to the streets in their RVs and all these destinations. And then, yeah, oddly enough, that shooting of that Netflix, that's Netflix, right? I have no idea. I've heard of Yellowstone, but I don't know anything about it. It's some cowboy malarkey. Douglas, Wyoming is a real prairie town. They still have a cobbler. It's $60 for new. I mean, the thing is, I have cowboy boots, but I don't like wearing them anymore because they squish your toes together, and my foot joints already hurt. So I'm more into the wide toe footwear. Look, I'm more of a Crocs guy. So maybe if they had leather Crocs or something. Yeah, I can put this right up. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I need some shelves in here to put my smokes and stuff. Yeah, 300 square foot apartment in Jackson. Yeah, your typical rental is like three grand a month for not much. I guess, like the tow truck driver that pulled me in there, he said, yeah, if you're planning on doing a hotel, the closest one to the garage where we're going is a Super 8, and it's $350 a night. So it's Super 8, $350 a night. That was fancy. No fancy. So I said, no, I'll pass. I'll just sleep in a ditch or something. Wore them for work. One pair had square toes. Yeah, I used to have those kind of biker style. The square toes are nicer, yeah. Kind of been looking out for a pair of those, but even back home, like a good pair of boots, leather boots, is like $350 Canadian. So that's like $75 American. But yeah, just things that disrupt the economy like that. So Jackson is very expensive in general. So, but I did get a deal on a cookie at Cowboy Coffee. Their drip coffee was very drinkable. But I asked them how much for one of them chocolate chip cookies you got there in the little display, and I said, oh, only $3.50. So I said, I'm good. And she said, oh, well, let's see. I've got a day old here you can have for $1.85. So I said, sold. So there you go. Got like almost half off on a cookie. So score. And it wasn't even terrible. Like it said, this one's getting a little hard. So it's like I dig a little bit of crunch in my cookie. So it's a very fine cookie. Very fine coffee. Which reminds me, it's almost time for coffee. So we're just going to chill out at the mall here until I guess everybody goes and finds something else to do. And then I'll make my way back. Oh, no, I got to find an Ace Hardware around here. Got to fix that windshield wiper. I just need a little quick clip and something to fashion a bushing out of. and a washer. Because I don't know what happened to that windshield wiper crossover bar bushing, but it's not even there. It's just gone. So I don't know if it was just always like that, but it wasn't even fastened with nothing. Like there was no clip, no nothing. Which is a shame, but super easy fix. And then I just want to tidy up here. Let's see, wire up that radio or stereo. Start having some tunes. I didn't install it up to now just because of that carburetor issue. If the guy needed to get into the dash, he wouldn't have to reassemble it. But really, there's nothing under the dash to deal with. Another annoying thing here is I've got a short to ground somewhere, probably in the body, a loose wire or a bare wire, and so I get a little zap when I touch like the door handle or anything metal here. So I gotta track that thing down. So I think I'm gonna see. I had tested the other day to see if there was a draw, like with the ignition off, if there was an amperage draw on one of the fuses. But I might have touched a fuse that has power to it all the time and ended up blowing the fuse in my multimeter. So I'm going to have to go get another 10 amp fuse for that. But yeah, this little short to ground here somewhere. It could be under the hood. It could be anywhere really. But just to try to isolate the circuit where it's on, and then I can go from there instead of tearing the whole dang RV apart looking for a loose wire. It could be, well, it shouldn't be any of the fixtures or the lights here or the plugs. It could be, but I doubt it. Because those don't get battery power unless I flip this little switch behind my head here. Tags in the house. Oh, Larata. Seems like they're busy scallying the chats. Gotta be scallying the chats. So when is the when is the generally specific takedown of bow gonna occur? Should I be marking my calendar or? It looked like somebody was fishing or trolling even for some online chat drama earlier today. So that's just my take. Maybe it was legit. Maybe it's just asking honest questions of this humble, meek little Vietnamese veteran. But it seemed like there was something more going on there. Just fishing for content. Too scallywaggery for me. But that's what we do here, right? At Larata. It's about making the scally presence known. So. But that could develop into something. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll just tune into bow and shout Larata. As soon as you show your face, people start plotting your demise. Well, yeah, that's true. But, I mean, what more could you do to me? I'm living in an RV that doesn't run. Drinking American coffee and smoking American cigarettes. I ran out of Canadian cigarettes. The Marlboro Lights are actually not too bad. So. Baby Vado is here, Scally in the chat. You look like you're a little terrified there. Just don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared of here. We just had Chick-fil-A. It's like any day with Chick-fil-A is a good day in my books. And so what did I get? Nobody asked what I got at Chick-fil-A. Well, I got a spicy chicken combo. They absolutely refused to do the fries well done. I got the Chick-fil-A sauce. Get native smokes in some places. Yeah. Yeah, these are like $10 a package. I mean, the Canadian smokes back home are, the name brand ones are 25 a package or 23 Canadian dollars, but the native smokes are like $3 or $4 a pack. The customer is always wrong. Well, my theory is it was it's some kind of Mormon regulation. It's against the religion for them to do the well done waffle fries here in Idaho Falls. I could be wrong, but I got the regularly done waffle fries, Chick-fil-A sauce, some extra barbecue sauce. So that was a spicy chicken combo, and then I got a deluxe sandwich on the side, which I'm saving for later. So Max approves of the spicy chicken. He had a couple of nibbles. I figured he wouldn't be into that spicy stuff, but he had a couple of nibbles of the chorizo sausage the other day that I got at the supermarket, and spicy. Well, yeah, Mormon's got nothing against him, but apparently there's some well done fries prohibition or something that's part of their belief system, so on. I mean, who am I to question? To each his own. But it could be just they were busy. Crazy with soda. Yeah, well, I guess that's why they smiled so hard when I asked for lemonade instead of Dr. Pepper. So, but, super friendly people, but super busy in there. The dining room was just packed, and the drive-through is, well, it's died down now. Like, what is it? It's 4 o'clock. An hour ago, it was just non-stop stream of cars out there in the drive-through, and everybody was getting their chicken sandwiches. But yeah, all in all, 5 stars to Chick-fil-A as usual. It's been a long time since I had the Chick-fil-A. Almost 10 years, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure last time would have been 2016. Summer 2016, so 9 years. Whew. It's a long time to go without Chick-fil-A. And then what else is going on? So yeah, me and Max are just kind of cooling it until Monday. Oh, I hope they can figure this out. It should be so much simpler to fix a carb issue than what I've been experiencing. I was disappointed I wasn't able to figure it out. But as I said, I kind of don't have the tools with me. I've got some basic tools, but I didn't have a vacuum gauge. I didn't have even a propane bottle to test for the vacuum leaks, like I was saying. So it's all good. I'm still ahead as far as what I paid for this rig, and to get it into a shape where there's no issues with it mechanically, and then I'll be doing work inside here to spruce things up, make sure everything's ready to go. I had also, just out of curiosity, priced out like getting these cushions recovered. And the cushions that were up here we had water damage, so I'm still need to insulate and recover that roof. And so I got started. I don't know if you could see. So I started putting some tongue and groove pine in there, and I'll probably do that wall and that wall with the window with the same tongue and groove, because there's some water damage there. It's nasty. It's like a veneer plywood with styrofoam inside, like that styrofoam SM. I forget if you call that type 1 or type 2. But it's just nasty. Well, it's like this stuff here. It's like 2 veneers of mahogany with some foam in between it. And then, yeah, this whole deck here where the upper bunk, like there's a platform that sits across here that I removed. It was all water damaged, so I'm going to replace that. But I might replace all this because some of this is pretty nasty. Let's see if I get all the finished veneer is stripped off, and the stuff is all flaky. So get rid of all the water damage and make it nice. And like even all this stuff, this is there's a lot of particle board in here too. I can't quite tell. And then I'm deciding whether to keep this leather or to cover it with something different. If I can pull all the staples out and it still looks nice, I might try to recreate this kind of curved effect here. But all I need is a little bit of a platform here, a little bit of a platform here. I'd probably remove this little cubby and then have some kind of, like on drawer slides, where I could pull the thing back, flip it over flat, and then have my cushions up top here. But the cushions that were up there, they both definitely need recovering, and one of the foam pads itself needs replacing because it's just all green and nasty looking. So that's not terribly expensive to do, but the place I looked at or stopped in yesterday, I asked them what would it cost to do 2 cushions, including the covering material, and then recover a couple other cushions, because I got a mattress there or cushions there, and then this bed that I'm sitting on, there's I think 2 cushions here as well. Because yeah, this thing that I'm sitting on, lying on, is where the dining room table would be. So there's a bench over there by the counter and another bench right here. This would be the back of the bench. So those 2 cushions fold flat, and then the table kind of would sit over here. So it all folds flat into a bed, and likewise that one pulls out into a bed. Or you could have just a king-size bed here, get the whole family in here, and then room to sleep another couple of people up top there. So it's not that I need it for sleeping myself, but if and when I go to sell this thing, I want it being nice. So, but anyways, they said to just replace completely, with cushions and covering for the top. He said about $250. So I thought, ooh. These cushions are all okay. They're just a little dated looking. We've got this kind of motif, this zigzag motif throughout. So I'll be looking at maybe some nicer looking window coverings as well. See, I could try washing these, but who knows, they might just fall apart. They don't seem to be UV damaged. They're not all tattered and falling apart or anything. But just to make it look a little less 1970s. And I do like the wood grain. I like the dark wood. Oh yeah, the other thing I was asking about, this fridge here. This runs on. Oh, and now that I notice it, somebody installed this. This is not original. Somebody tacked this panel in here. But this fridge runs on propane and electricity. And so when I have it plugged in, I tried turning it on, and I just hear the refrigerant kind of gurgling in there, and it doesn't really cool. So I'll probably end up just pulling this out and replacing it with an electric fridge. And I don't really use a microwave myself. So I'll probably just go to like Best Buy or something and put like a full size, not a full size fridge, but a mini fridge, but bigger than this. I mean, this is a decent sized fridge for traveling. It's bigger than a mini fridge, but I'll get one that's whatever this is, 30 inches by. I could probably fit one in here that's 5 feet. So a proper fridge, get rid of the microwave. I'm not big on microwave food. And then just forget about the propane power. Because I haven't bothered hooking up my propane for anything. I've got, if I'm plugged into power, I just use the kettle for making coffee. I've got the butane stove for when I'm not plugged in. I could hook up the propane and use the stove and oven. But it's like this trip wasn't about doing a bunch of cooking and just staying here. I wanted to get out and sample some of the fine American cuisine that's being offered up. The tacos and the chimichangas and the Chick-fil-A and the other barbecued morsels, which, I didn't finish the story in Jackson. So Thursday, got cleaned up after I left the garage there and ended up at the Big Hole Barbecue right in downtown Jackson. Just a few, not even a few, just a couple blocks east of Bubba's. Because I asked the guy at the garage, like, where's the barbecue place in town? He said, oh, Bubba's is good, but Big Hole is better. So then I said, well, what's your favorite dish there? And he said, the burnt ends. And I said, ooh, burnt ends. Like, they didn't have burnt ends at Bubba's. And I was looking for them, but they didn't have them. So if you're not sure what burnt ends is, it's brisket. So you got to try it. And this is a thing they came up with in Kansas City, if I'm correct. It might have even been Oklahoma Joe's that did it. But it's like when you're making a brisket, sometimes the edges get a little charred and tough. And so what they do is they slice that part off and they put it aside. So when you order brisket at the barbecue, you don't get this charred edge of the brisket. And what they end up doing is they take it and they chop it up into these little cubes, and then they marinate it. They put a dry rub or put in some sauce, and then they just slow roast it until it virtually falls apart. It almost dissolves on your tongue. It is so good. And I've made it at home when I've made brisket, where you take the parts on the edge that are a little more well done than the middle, because the brisket kind of tapers off to a fine edge. So you slice that fine edge off. Oh, it's getting breezy out there. Oh, it's fall time. Leaves are just a hustling across the parking lot. But I would take that up, I'd chop it into cubes, get a cast iron skillet, and either on the barbecue or on the stovetop, you put your sauce, and then I don't know if you call it braising, I guess, it's sort of a braising process. Just cook them until that sauce starts caramelizing, and it's like candied beef. It's like, oh, so good. And that's what I was used to in Kansas City. That's typically how they serve it. But at the Big Hole Barbecue, they had a dry rub brisket, which I had never heard of. Because I asked the guy, like, which one do you recommend? Because they had their original house sauce, which they make in-house, their spicy sauce, their mustard sauce, and a dry rub. He says, well, the mustard sauce is my favorite, but if you're not into that, then you try the dry rub, and we've got a selection of sauces on the table here. And you just go from there. And I said, let's do the dry rub, because I was completely unfamiliar. I was a dry rub virgin. And they came, and I mean, this isn't a critique, but they only sell it by the pound. So and it was like 19 bucks for a pound of brisket. I'm like, I'm not going to eat a pound of brisket. But I said, you won't do a half pound, eh? He's like, no, only a pound. So, okay, well, bring me a pound of those and some fries, knowing that I'd have some leftovers. No, Max knowing there'd be some leftovers. So I tied into this dry rub brisket with some of their original house sauce and their spicy sauce, and oh, it was fantastic. I actually still have a few cubes left, which well, let's see. Max, are you into brisket? Let's see what's left here. Let's see what's left. Oh yeah, there's a little bit here. So here's a piece of their dry rub brisket. They stole a little bit of their sauce. You just dab it all up. And, oh yeah. Oh, Max is too busy taking a nap. I was going to share some with you, buddy. Look at that one. Nice chunk of fat on there. You gotta get up if you want it. It's right here, buddy. See how long it takes them. If you don't eat it, I'm gonna throw it out. You want me to just toss it out? So look at the focus in this dog's eyes. Have you ever seen anything like that? He gets this glazed look in his eyes, like just. It's the funniest thing. Are you sure you don't want some more? Because there's a little bit more. I'm willing to share. Good boy. All right, just a few more cubes for snack later on. Hide these so he doesn't go help himself with snacks. But yeah, highly recommend the brisket, the dry rub brisket, no less, at the Big Hole in Jackson Hole. It was absolutely fabulous. And I am a bit of a barbecue freak. Well, who doesn't love brisket? I mean, unless you're one of those soy boys from Asia or America that, well, I guess soy boys can eat brisket too, but but Max is he's not into soy. He's brisket all the way. And apparently Chick-fil-A all the way too. So yeah, it's almost time to get on back to the shop and brew up some coffee. See if I can locate it Ace Hardware here on the way. But that's it. That's the update for Saturday, December 17th. 2022. Slowly making our way back up to the Canadian border. We might be there in another week. Who knows? As of tomorrow, it's 2 weeks on the road. No, as of Monday, it's 2 weeks on the road. Made very, 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 very slow progress. But it's been enjoyable. Like there's been plenty to see and do. Doing more of a tourist thing than I had planned. And doing more of a mechanic thing that I had planned. The only thing I was planning to do was install that stereo on this trip. I wasn't expecting to do any work on this truck. But that's the way it goes sometimes. It's all good. Enjoy every day for the adventure it provides. Living in the moment. That's kind of been my life lesson to learn over the last year or two. Stop stressing over your schedule and what you got to be, where you got to be and what you got to be doing. It's just wherever you are today, that's what you need to be doing. I'm so distraught I gotta resort to drinking water. But we'll fix that shortly. We'll get some of them dark brown McDonald's beans ground up fine. Pour some hot water over them and tweak out. The hardest I know how. But I think we'll call it a day for this stream. Unless anybody has any pressing questions, our business is almost done here. And then I can go about the rest of my sad, sorry day. Sad, sorry, what are you talking about? You had Chick-fil-A today. You had Chick-fil-A. It's not. We had iced lemonade. There's still a sip left. Actually, I think Chick-fil-A is one of the only reasons, or one of the major reasons my wife married me, because I took her to Chick-fil-A. We got engaged over an order of onion rings. Those are the only kind of rings I could afford at the time. So. And she said yes. Eventually that yes was sort of a maybe. Well, there you have it. Another fine tweak stream, all done. We'll see if we can give you another update sooner than so. When was the last time I talked with you? Like Tuesday or Wednesday or something. But hopefully we'll make some progress. I was hoping to be in Boise last night. Actually, I was going to shoot for Ontario, Oregon last night, and then the last leg of the trip to Bend, I would have been in Bend this afternoon. But we'll regroup. Monday we'll embark on the last half of this American journey. Because once I get to Bend, Oregon, in the central part of the province there, I'm going to shoot straight up north towards Kelowna. So pretty much a straight shot all the way. And as long as this thing is running, by that time it's only going to be a couple more days in the States beyond that. So I may be back in Canada by next weekend. And then it'll be a short travels through Canada. I'm going to have to make my way back so I can get my driver's license renewed in time. So that's the plan. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for coming by. Eat your potatoes. They're good for you. And stay tweaky.